Hi, I'm back, and with that let's get to the topic. Balance changes for the 4 remaining factions. 3 of them are pretty tame and 1 of them is pretty complex. So let's get right into it. Rebels. Plus 1 HP Elvish Archer. Not a lot, but most of the Elvish matchups are actually fine. This change doesn't impact their still best matchup versus Undead, but it does impact their slightly weaker matchups like versus Dwarves and especially versus Drakes, which is in my opinion their worst matchup. But to actually fix it properly, they would need to get Arcane Mage on level 1, and that would require the rebalance of entirety of arcane resistances in the game. And honestly, I'm up for it, but it most likely is not going to happen now if ever. Drakes. Changes to this faction depend entirely on nerfing Saurian Augur. If he does get nerfed, then most of the Drakes will get buffed. If he doesn't, then well, the faction is not going to change much if at all. So, let's just consider the scenario where Augur gets nerfed, and the most likely nerf for him is simply plus 1 gold. As for the rest of the Drakes, Burner would get 44 or 45 HP instead of current 42, or would go down to 20 gold, in which case the HP would also go down to 40 or 41. Clasher would get better movement costs, which is not a big change, but at the same time a change that doesn't make him more campy. Glider would go to 33 HP and Fighter would go to 40. All of this is supposed to make the Drakes part of the Drakes more viable, while weakening the reliance on having to have Augurs, as well as weakening overall Night Rushes of Drakes. Also, Drakes are second on the list of the factions that in my opinion could get additional unit. I don't think they lack anything, but they just have 6 units. Next up are Orcs, and for them there probably won't be any changes. Maybe some small change for Orcish Archer, but I don't even have anything concrete in mind. And finally, Undead. In my opinion, when it comes to balance, they are fine, but they suffer the most from the lack of choice and the diversity in strategies, about which I talked more about in my other video. To fix this problem is to simply add additional unit that goes against the core Undead strengths and weaknesses, like for example being weak to pierce damage type but strong against impact, which would not only make Undead strategies more varied, but also make the games against Undead more unique. Anyway, I'm Heinever and thank you for watching.